A pair leans on the side of the cave entrance upon Nyx's return, the crystal unmoved from her side, covered by the cloak and skirt. The chain now hangs delicately into a pocket on her trouser, the bonus also being hidden below the separate pockets on her skirt. Even the keenest of eyes should miss it. That is about to be tested, though. Helix leans by the side of an unmet figure, his gaze turned to her with a grin, mostly ignoring any of their adjacent company. Space buns pull white hair from the younger's face, one rounded with kindness, with crystal secure to the tires in vibrant sapphire blue, drawing a passing eye. It's silky, straight strands curling on themselves in a purposeful manner for the style, reminiscent of the clouds floating peacefully above the world, watching as daily lives unfold before their watchful gaze. Yet, deep blue eyes rival the ocean's depths as they weigh on Nyx, a knowing glimmer masking itself deep below the shifting flecks of lighter tones passing behind the pupil, with a smile pulling at the corner of their mouth. It alerts Helix, straightening his spine as a hand sits dangerously close to the dagger, ignorant of clear hands Nyx carries below her cloak. It doesn't hinder her approach. Even steps cut across the grass with a facade of confidence masking the doubt creeping into the cracks. "There you are, girl," the first figure greets with a confident stride coming to cut off her path, an inspecting glare lying below any facade of warmth they've mastered. Their shoulders are covered by a shorter capelet, fastened with a silver chain familiar to find forgotten in one of the boxes lying around of unsellable goods. It could be bought, one of the rare gifts actually paid for, yet it's more likely one of their partners stole it on their behalf. Sweet, maybe? Still a little illegal, if you ask the guard growing tired of this group. A shorter frame, a kind smile, the greatest weapon sharpened in such a climate. Rosen flourishes now, overseeing most of the tunnel's function where other eyes are busy. About time, too. Follow. Helix dismisses with a flick of their hand, tugging Nyx into her step behind them, by little more than routine. It is a silent routine, too, one of no words to be shared between Nyx and these adults, where they mutter and murmur professional conversation where others may hear. The upper tunnels a clearer path, seeing the pair take the lead. Some of the newer recruits diving into the stone walls to simply avoid a glance their way before their day's accomplishment. Older figures, weathered by years like this, turn a glance down. Eyes train on inspecting the stone, memorizing the cracks as they lay at their feet, with others fixating on friendly conversation. A pair yelling echoes their voices down the halls, fall silent before the figures. Their issue grows abandoned in favour of both adults sitting side by side over breakfast and letting it lie. Arguments aren't often a light punishment when a head deems it unworthy or distracting. "Did you learn then, Nyx?" Helix casts back with a glance, focusing in on the eye bags accentuating the torchlight. They're usually there, yet now remain darker than the day prior. "I believe that I did, Helix." A short nod ends the sentence, one not daring to meet his eyes. "Good. Arden doesn't have time to further address your insufficiency. We have other work to handle, but you'll do good to apologise further post-meeting depending on his mood. He's given a lot to you. It's fair to repay. Am I clear?" Crystal. That is as far as the conversation goes for her. They're nearing the private tunnels now, crowds dispersing as the hallways become occupied by storage rooms or abandoned share rooms of most of the more respected figures, too good for the communal bunks fought for most nights. In one hall, the trio turns right towards one of the two wooden doors in the entire system built into the rock. Every other entrance uses a curtain or an arch. Turning left would spiral deeper than the right, a hallway on a subtle decline with curtain sections echoing repetitive storage rooms void of the useful materials. More those stored for emergencies or goods that were bought back and never sold on. One of the smaller rooms near the end of the decline is Nyx's. Private, tucked away. Further down is the second door in the system, behind it being the cells for hostages. We won't pry into that area much for now. No, the group turns right, passing the door they all share a key for and allows the dynamics to shift. Rosen and Helix ease the tension in their shoulders, Rosen moving forward to hold the door for Helix before moving ahead of Nyx once more as the meeting room awaits for the trio alone. Arden sits opposite the door on the round table, no one figure being able to lead it by being at the head. Besides, Arden allows Carissa to lounge against his shoulder whilst Erica sips at her tea across from them. His head rests on one of his hands as she sprawls across whatever space she can. 2 seats wait for the rest of the council whilst Nix takes a position, standing in the doorway awaiting their attention. It isn't as if they're in a hurry to offer it either, as small smiles exchange themselves between the group, each only turned sharp or bitter when they stray too far across to the observing shadow. I can describe Carissa first. I did mention her first. She's on the taller side of the group, one able to rival Helix in terms of physical strength too, only enhanced by her further grasp on the earth, given away by vibrant, almost toxic, green in her eye. They always gleam too bright, sitting beyond an expected range for the colour. Her hair, tightly coiled, sits unnaturally between 2 colours, though that is with the help of dye kept fresh with the aid of rosin or helix where needed. The natural colour, a deep black, which falls behind her ears now. The top section, dyed a strong purple, royal in tone, which is tugged back into a small bun at the back of her head. A telling clue that Arden is the one who pulled it up there for her. His own hair preferring similar themes as part of her hair still falls loose. Unlike the others, she's not yet shed the shoulder armour usually connected to her cloak. It just sits above her looser shirt at this moment, clanking against the chair in her movement with little care. As long as Nix has known this woman, she's despised full sets of the heavy metal, tossing offers of it aside with disgust, yet she still uses the shoulder segments against her will. Whispers carry off some old injury, weakening the area, a matter of need to defend it. Yet those are just whispers Carissa hasn't paid any heed to. They'll remain whispers for now. Erica is the final figure you must meet before we continue on with the passing glances. I mean, no one is saying anything just yet. She still sips her tea, the porcelain set unchipped and well kept, with a cupboard of more at the side carved into rock. Rosin and Helix only joined the group, Helix becoming Carissa's footrest, whilst Rosin pours themselves another cup to join Erica. The new recruits usually have thoughts about the woman leading the tea session, usually ones that stir trouble they're never prepared to handle, regardless of backgrounds. She doesn't look like the tunnels. Then again, neither does Rosin with their longer skirts. Erica is the same, though often settles to pin the fabric so it sits between her knee and ankle, layering one below it where the day carry a ruthless chill. Nix is the only one who realises when they're sharing skirts. Erica today wearing a lighter blue one, commonly seen with Rosin's collection, yet accented by the black lace hem she quite prefers with a matching choker decorated with matching chains, curving towards the centre gem. It's an unnatural pink, mirrored by her eyes, vibrant in a way with energy that reflects any light. They've grown brighter over the years, her childhood seeing her eyes closer to a dull brown that's been refined each passing year. Having a daily theme, her hair is pulled back into a cloudy ponytail of textured coils by a vibrant blue band. It's hard to see the band below the volume of the style, yet she's only satisfied by the coherent colour scheme. A fun tale of those accessories? When Nix was still learning to steal, her target would often be set on one of those coloured ties that Erica preferred, a gesture from Arden or another. Her collection has a few legally obtained items in it. Those only make up the minority, however. Another sip rises the teacup to her face, yet a delay gives it time to fog under the black-rimmed glasses as the glance assess how little people have moved. Nix certainly hasn't shifted. Her hands remain behind her back, with an unassuming glance watching the figures around the table, with her posture never failing. Erica scans it again. No, not a single fault, really. The kids finally took her lessons to heart too, her ankles basically touching as she stood to attention. It certainly is about time. Nix. Arden breaks the weight, head leaning lazily on his hand. You've disappointed us as of late, yet I feel as if this is partly my own fault. I've let your skill go to waste. To be clear, Arden's eyes reflect a glance Nix is familiar with. The unchanging white depths echoing a chill as he undoubtedly gives the child his full attention. It lets silence linger for a moment more, noting how the void meets his glance before shifting to the wall over his shoulder ever so slightly. He rarely notices when Nix isn't focusing on his eyes. The voids help somewhat as long as they linger in his direction. "It isn't your fault, sir. I shall perform to standards regardless of circumstance. I apologise." A wrong word, and the trap is sprung. The room's shadows never sit right around the man, usually having light replace whatever supply is being used to decorate his jacket. Yet now more breaks. They shatter a warning from Nix's side where the charm still hangs, monitoring how the balance is at play. Below the table, somewhere Nix's eyes can't monitor yet ours can, light floods the small specks where the shatter occurs before a rush pushes them forwards in a sharp spike. It takes shape before Nix, a warning centimetres from her arm as Arden's hand rises to the threat. "I wasn't finished." A silent nod is the only apology he wants, Nix's eyes never moving to the spike or away from the figure across the table. "We have some rats that need silencing. The details are on the side, and this is how you'll earn your share tonight. Beyond that, until other notice, you'll report to me daily for work, in the morning rather than whatever it is you waste your time on currently. Now go." The spike retreats, slithering back in dark waves as Nix is handed the folder by Helix. Just one with a plain cover she will return or burn upon the job's completion. His glance isn't spared to her, as he favours his conversation with Carissa. No one really affords her any form of attention, regardless of shows that you and I are perhaps slightly newer to when compared against those at the table. On a bright side, Nix retreats down the tunnels with an extra speed to her steps, not due to the meeting, that's all nothing by now, but she's got the day. Yes, her work will call once the night falls, yet the hours until then are her own for once. No trip to the market or waiting near paths frequented by travellers when she can find her embroidery kit and add to the patterns on her layered skirt. Ideas of stars already filling her mind, or a nap can finally settle the edge to her exhaustion. As long as she reads the file for later, no one will want her. It actually tries to pull the corner of her mouth into a smile, something quelled as soon as she's made aware of it. The palace buzzes with life, each cog moving through its known pattern as the days cycle. Duke Sal strides through the hallways, paying little mind to the intricate carvings decorating the pillars passed in each step, or the paintings hung on the spacious walls. His gaze neglects staff, keeping to the side, one group sweeping the floors and cleaning carpets, while another further down dust and clean tapestries depicting the Empire's history. Their whispers do very little for him. Staff gossiping is a truth to their line of work, being paid to witness the court drama first-hand from the sidelines. Anything they may happen to mutter is something a more reliable source of his would already be pursuing if it held any relevance, beyond some family making another snarky remark against their equal in some pathetic attempt to slander another's name. All moves that are seen, heard, and noted by those around. The guards themselves fall into the background of each muffled step. Stations line most doorways, a hall always under view by someone. Yet they barely move. Most could be replaced by lifelike statues and people wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Sal's had to glance twice at a few before, mainly checking that some are still breathing, as still as they may be. Lyra remains across the palace, currently busy with new guests working out where the previous charm holder will be buried. His home village had been in the middle of the mountains, unusual for a holder, yet further from the dark capital under Sal's eye. It would be custom to hold respects where the element lives, likely burying the holder nearer to the heart in a lavish display respecting their life's work. Yet his wife is adamant he would want to remain at home, somewhere he knew where those he loved get to keep his memory close, personal to themselves and him. The main capital, the Balancer's home, and where we're currently watching, is already stricken off from the options list, as most of the conversations focus on ensuring he is buried by his wife. At most, they hold a festival in his memory at the Heart City. No, by now that is all set. The conversation happening across the palace now focuses on the clues offered by the woman closest to the charm in her husband's final moments. Any slither of information could imply where the charm's now gone, offered freely by the woman. Sal cares very little for this. As I said, he is across the palace, walking down another silent hallway only occupied by statuesque guards and maybe a distant mumble of staff around the corner. The charm is a matter he will need to look into when the sun rises. His land holding the element's heart, making it his issue, yet he barely affords it any of his concern. Besides, he has another mission. Eyes are focused across the palace as he stops at the side of the station. The man's like any other guard, covered in the lighter show armour, yet still wearing his helmet and carrying the Emperor's logo. Most of it reflects the soft light from the nearby candles, yet the details cast sharp shadows in equal amounts. Sal glances out of the window, noting the clouds gathering once more before the guard speaks in hushed whispers. He agreed. Tomorrow night, the agreed location. Good. Tell no one. And he is gone. Sal turned on his heel with a gaze set on the path ahead. It only pauses to wave one of the workers, a passing request to have someone send him some tea to his room for the evening as he continues to walk. Hey, what is up everybody? I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you're enjoying the story so far. Sorry that this one took a bit longer to get out. I have been sick the past few weeks, and I'm finally getting back into actually making these. But yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever time of the day it is. And I hope you stick around for the next one. That is all for now, so have a wonderful day.